Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek at Gen Con 50. I'm sitting down with Jay Treat of Mayday Games, and this is your game, Cahoots.
Yes.
So what are we trying to accomplish in a fabulous speakeasy-themed card game?
So Cahoots is a competitive trick-taking card game for 3 to 4 players, where in order to score points, you have to work with your opponents. So the way that works is that there are 6 suits in the game, and each player gets a card at the beginning of the game, public information, that tells you which 3 of those 6 suits you care about. So anytime that Hearts wins a trick, for example, you're going to score points because you've got Hearts here, and I'm going to score points with you.
Got it.
Each of your suits you share with one of your opponents. So you share stars with this player, clubs with this player. So if you're going to score, it's going to be with one of your opponents.
But not necessarily the same person in like a game like Crib or a bridge where you would always have the same partner.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a shifting partnership trick-taking game. And you're choosing every trick. Who are you going to work with? And maybe you start trying to work with this player by playing a star, and they reject your offer, and you have to scramble to work with someone else to try and make the best of that hand. So the way that each trick works is that whoever is the starting player for the trick is going to play any card from their hand, and each other player is going to play any card from their hand. So there's no follow rules or anything like that. And then we're actually going to go around a second time.
Oh.
Every player plays 2 cards. And it doesn't actually matter who plays which card. What matters is what suits were played. So we're going to group these by suit. And we see, in this case, that clubs have won this trick because they have the most cards and the highest total rank.
Got it.
And that means that you and this opponent across from you are scoring this round. Before we give you those points, there's one more very important step where we are going to forcibly remove half of these cards from the game and reintroduce half of them back into our hands.
Interesting.
Yeah. So each player gets to choose, starting with the player with the starting marker, gets to choose 1 card to put into their hand and 1 card to remove from the game. You do 1 at first. So you might say this is the highest club. The ranks go from 4 to 8 in this game. So you might say, I really want this club because I care about clubs, so I'm going to keep this card. And this player might say, well, I don't like clubs, and I don't want clubs to win another trick too soon. So they might say, I'm going to kill this 7 of clubs.
Right.
And each player is going to choose one of those things, kill or keep, and then when we come around again, you'll do whatever you didn't do the first time, because you're always going to kill 1 and keep 1. So maybe you kill that, kills that, and
keep that,
and that counts. So we now have these cards that were kept go into our hands. So you are changing your hand over the course of the game. What you start with isn't what you're limited to using, and then the 4 cards that we removed from the game are actually what we're going to use to track those points. So I think in this example, clubs won, so you get 2 of these points, and your opponent gets 2 of these points. So every trick, everyone's playing 2 cards and picking up 1 card. You normally start with a 12-card hand, and the game goes 11 rounds. Whoever has the most points.
Right, because you're going to bleed out some cards, which is going to cause your hand to bleed down.
Yeah, exactly. So your strategy is all about trying to figure out when to play the cards that benefit you when it's most optimal, and when to play the cards that benefit your opponents when it's least effective for them. And because of the way that everything comes in turn order, and you are working with different opponents, you can often set up situations in that kill and keep phase where you can convince your opponent to do something that's beneficial to you. Like you might choose not to pick up a heart because you think that I will pick up that heart.
Right.
Or you might choose not to kill a spade that it belongs to both our opponents because you think I might do it if you don't.
Now, are there any adjustments for a 3-player game?
Slightly, yes. So in a 3-player game, one of these doesn't exist.
Right.
And so that means that you share a suit with both of your opponents, but you also have 1 suit to yourself.
Interesting.
Which is a little bit harder to win with, but when you do, you get all 4 of the points for the trick. So that becomes a bigger challenge, but a bigger reward as well. And we do remove, so there are duplicates 5s, 6s, and 7s in the deck. With 3 players, we remove the duplicate 5s and 7s, so it's a slightly smaller deck. Instead of 48 cards, it is 36.
How long do you think a full game would take us?
Half an hour tops. Usually 30 minutes, yeah.
So this is a nice, quick, snappy trick-taking game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Jay, are you a particular lover of trick-taking games? Was there anything that sort of inspired you that you said, oh, yeah, I feel like there's an idea here?
Yeah, I enjoy trick-taking games. There's a lot of kinds of games that I enjoy. But what particularly drove me with this design was the idea of a competitive game where you work with your opponents. I really like the idea that even though I'm trying to win and you're trying to win, and those are separate goals, that doesn't mean that we can't work together along the way to accomplish it.
Yeah, I like the idea that those alliances shift every single round too. So
yes, and I can tell you with a lot of groups, one little slight from one player can become a whole-out feud.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's like, we were playing a trick-taking game last night, and one hand's like, yeah, I don't like you anymore. Well, Jay, I really appreciate you letting us take a look at your game, which if you guys want to check that out, this is Cahoots, which is published by Mayday Games, and thank you again.
Thank you, Ben.